Hey, what's going on, my good people? I know some of y'all keep questioning me about why I feel the way I feel about Andrea Culberson, Henry Dinkins' girlfriend. And trust me, there's a reason. There are some things that we knew that didn't come out in trial, but we knew just from following the case from the very beginning. So I'm going to show you why I feel the way I feel. But let's start with this.
Were you the type of person that would challenge Mr. Dinkins?
No.
Okay. How would you respond to him?
Submissively.
All right.
So you hear Andrea describe her relationship with Henry, and she claimed that she was submissive. But during the course of the investigation, we know Andrea lied about some of the details surrounding the case of Breasia Terrell. So are we dealing with someone who's just submissive? Or are we dealing with someone who is just a flat out liar? Come on, ride with me.
Hi there. Are you Andrea?
Yeah.
Okay, Andrea. What's your date of birth, Andrea?
9383.
9383. And this is 2744, number 8.
Please state your name for the record and spell both your first and your last name.
Andrea Culberson, ANDREACULBERSON.
Ms. Culberson, how old are you?
39.
Are you a resident of Scott County?
I am.
What was your address back in July of 2020?
2744 East 53rd Street, apartment 8.
Yep, this is where Andrea was staying with Henry. And on July 10th, 2020, when Breasia went missing, Andrea's story was different. It was different. And we all know the truth don't change. So let's look at Andrea's first story. Pay attention.
Tell me about, when was the last time you saw her?
She was here.
When?
What time was I? I fell asleep like, I don't know, 11 midnight. She was here. She was in bed sleeping.
Okay. What time did you guys wake up?
Now, I was still asleep. I don't know what time everybody else got up.
Well, what time did you wake up?
Oh, goodness, honestly, I cannot remember what time I was.
Okay, 30 minutes ago? 2 hours ago? 2 hours ago? Okay.
Now, keep in mind that this officer is at Andrea's house at about 9 a.m. on July the 10th. 9 a.m. And when asked what time she woke up, she acting like she don't know nothing. And so she tells the officer that she's only been up for 2 hours. So you ain't get up to 7 a.m.? Yeah, okay. Because based off of her testimony, she said that she woke up at 3 a.m. when she noticed that Breasia and Henry were gone. And then she tried to call Henry's phone.
After I got done calling him, there was no answer. I stayed up.
Okay.
I didn't have his phone. I didn't have Miss Langsford's number, so I couldn't call her. So I just stayed up.
So it's safe to say that Andrea woke up at 3 a.m. and never went back to sleep. I mean, because if you've been following the timeline, we know that there's things that happen in between there. Like DL waking up at about 5:30ish. You know, it's safe to assume that Andrea was still up. DL even said that she was moving around the house looking out the windows. She was up. So to me, she never went back to sleep. That's why she was up when Henry snuck his ass back in the house and she tried to talk to him.
Was there any dialogue that you initiated with Mr. Dinkins?
I tried.
Tell us about that.
I was like, what's going on? Where you going? What's going on? And he's like, I'll be back.
Then when I came back, Andrea was up. She like, what's wrong? I'm like, man, something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? I was freaking out a little bit. So she like, I'm like, man, I'll talk to you in a minute. I'll talk to you in a minute. I'll talk to you in a minute. We gotta figure this shit out.
You never once said to him at that point, where's Breasia, did you?
That is correct.
You never once asked him at that point, do you know where Breasia is, did you?
That's correct.
You never once asked him, do you have Breasia?
That is correct.
Even though you have this feeling in the pit of your stomach that something bad may have happened, it didn't cross your mind to ask those questions, right?
That's correct.
Now, am I the only one with a problem with that? That should have been the first thing she asked him when he walked back in that house. Where is Breasia? She didn't say anything about Breasia. Nothing. And that's the beginning of how she got caught up in this investigation.
And then next thing I know, detectives are at my house.
Was your apartment searched by law enforcement on July 10th of 2020?
Yes.
So on July the 10th, the same day that Breasia went missing, the police got a search warrant and searched Andrea's house. They didn't find Breasia, but here's one of the things that they did find. This gun right here, tucked in between the mattress, along with some other things. There it is. You see it? This gun right here. This is what they found while looking for Breasia.
There was a gun in the house, however, right?
Yes.
That gun was found under the bed, right?
Yes.
That was not Mr. Dinkins' gun?
No.
And that gun was actually found under the bed the morning of July 10th, or the afternoon of July 10th?
Talking about between the mattress?
Yes.
Yes, that was mine.
Okay.
So that gun that they found was registered to Andrea, and they took her ass down to the station.
They searched my place. They were having trouble getting a hold of Mr. Dinkins to come down to the police station. So I called him, and then he went. I asked if he wanted me to come down for more support. I went down there. I actually went into an interrogation room, and that's where all the questioning and everything went.
So I'm sure they drilled Andrea about the whereabouts of Breasia, and Andrea didn't provide any useful information at that time. Nothing. And I'm sure they talked to her about that gun. Did they threaten to charge her with something either related to Breasia or that gun? That gun became a big deal for Andrea. On November the 5th of 2020, just 4 months after Breasia went missing, Andrea was indicted by a federal grand jury. That's right, indicted. For 1 count of unlawful drug user in possession of a firearm and 1 count of false statement during the purchase of a firearm. Now, in one article, it said that she was using marijuana. So I was like, she in trouble for using marijuana and having a gun? I didn't even know that was a thing. I really didn't. But this is what they had her on. And the penalty for both offenses is up to 10 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, and not more than 3 years of supervised release to follow any prison term. Now, I wonder, what did she lie about trying to purchase a firearm? Because false statement equal liar. So again, that gun became a big deal for Andrea starting July the 10th. And I think that when they came to Andrea about that gun, they scared the hell out of her. And in my opinion, this is why on July the 14th, Andrea wanted to speak to the detectives working Breasia's case. So on July the 14th, just 4 days after Breasia went missing, now Andrea wants to tell them that she put Henry's phone on the charger at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I wonder why she didn't tell them that from the start. She hid that. And then not only that, while in this same interview on July the 14th, she denied calling Henry, even though the phone record showed she called Henry at 3:11 and 3:12. So you still lying to them? Still. And not only that, now Andrea's story is different. It's different. Now she's telling them that she's seen Breasia at 3:30 in the morning outside.
What room or what window did you look out when you said you saw Breasia?
The window above my bed.
Where specifically did you see Breasia standing?
She was like right between like the passenger door and the back door. Like right there.
Of what?
Of the Impala.
The maroon Impala?
Yes.
And how did you know it was Briasia?
Her description is very distinctive. Her hair is very distinctive. The gigantic shirt she was wearing.
Okay, so was she in that white large T-shirt that Mr. Dinkins had the children put on after they took their baths?
Yes, ma'am.
When you looked out the window and you saw Briasia standing along the passenger side of the Chevy Impala, were you able to see her face to get a sense of any expression or emotional state for the child?
No, ma'am.
Explain.
It's like her head was like, I had an aerial version of it. So I can only see like the top. I couldn't see her face.
Okay, and then when you looked out the window, could you see the front of her body, or was it the back of her body, or even a side profile?
Like a side profile.
A side profile.
You were asked that question on June 22, 2022, and the question was, does she look scared or upset?
Correct.
What was your response?
Not at all.
And today, you don't recall what her expression was?
It's kind of hard to express something if you don't see their face.
So you
But
were,
for what I saw, her just standing there, she did not look scared at all. She was not like she was frantic, shaking, or anything of that nature. She was just standing there.
did you understand the question in June when you were asked that question?
Yes.
Okay. So your testimony today is, just so I'm clear, is that you have no recollection that she looked something other than normal?
Yes.
Okay.
And she's caught in another lie. Andrea knew something was wrong, y'all. And yet when she supposedly seen Briasia with Henry, this is what she had to say.
She is with him, she's safe, but yeah, it just seemed weird to me, but I didn't know what to say.
Of course it's weird. Is she stupid? Of course this is weird. And see, that's what makes me question her many lies, her story. You can't trust her. Don't be mad at me. These are her words. She's not to be trusted. And while she running around, claiming to be Henry's girlfriend, when Henry got locked up, this is what he was telling the other inmates.
He would speak that he would try to say that he didn't have any involvement and that he would always try to place blame on, I don't know who the individual, the female was, that he would always try to say that she was involved in sex trafficking and that supposedly he would basically try to put the blame off on her.
So it sounded like Henry was trying to blame this on Andrea. I don't know. But at the start of this case, we already knew it was either him or her. Now, understand this. I was already on Henry's ass. But my thing was this. Was she an accomplice? That's where I was at in the beginning. Because again, they were the only two adults there in that apartment. And then she had the nerve to say this.
And you guys never heard her come down and walk out? There's no forced entry or anything like that? Okay.
No forced entry. Yeah, we know. We know exactly what's going on now. And the question is, why did she have to lie? And if you've been following this case, you know there's more. There's more. So again, I'm going to ask you, are we dealing with a woman who is just submissive? Or is Andrea just a flat out liar? Now, let me ask you this. Will being submissive cause you to lie to protect your man? Or was Andrea just trying to save her own ass, considering those gun charges? And I'm going to be honest with y'all. In my opinion, Andrea is just a flat out liar, and birds of a feather flock together.